Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. I am so sorry. I am having a little bit of an issue today. It looks like we are vertical. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was having a problem. I was having a problem getting my phone to cooperate today. So we will just wing it. So I'm so excited to take an artsy travel with you. Is it this way? Is it this way? It's this way. Okay. Okay. Am I back? Honest to Pete. You guys. Crazy. 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 Okay. All right. Honest to goodness. Okay, so as I was saying, hi Nance, how are you? As I was saying, Jane, I wish I could see your beautiful advent calendars in person. Jane posted pictures of her, I don't want to say vintage because that makes us both seem old, but whatevs, right? She saved her advent calendars from her childhood. I'm sure her mom did, and then and refilled them. What a brilliant idea is that? Anyway, oh my gosh, I wish I could see them in person, Jane. I'm sure they're amazing. If you are brand new here, I would appreciate it if you would follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Corbiere-Scott Designs. My art printables, which I'll mention in a minute, are available at Corbiere-ScottDesigns.com. This class and all of my, unless I tell you it's a paid class, it's free. I'm just sharing my love of art. I do have a couple of classes that I do in private Facebook groups, but you'll know about that. The only thing I ask is that you give me your email address so you can be on my email distribution list. And to do that, ask to join my private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Corbiere-Scott. And that, one of the 3 questions is to give your email. Anyway, so here we go. So today, is everybody ready? Because today, oh, let me do my other commercials. So we do this every Saturday. We do Let's Get Artsy Together Apart, where we do a little bit of art journaling and a little bit of art history and artist study and some color theory. We just have ourselves a time. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do pop-in paint parties where we get together and create with my art printables together. Or new products that I have designed for a couple of different companies. There's one British company, Jane, and it is called Funky Fossil Designs. And then there is this company, which is called Unity, which is a U.S. company. Everything is made in the U.S. Everything is packaged, and like they do it all. So I draw the art and then I send it to them and they digitize it and make it into these beautiful stamps. So these are my 2 latest, Pocketful of Posies and Whispering Pines. Hey, Nicole. Anyway, these are, a girl's got to make a living. And then this is the paid class I was talking to you about. On December 19th, we're going to be doing, the theme is Mary, Did You Know? And so we're going to create this in our Bible. So I provide the artwork. I draw and letter by hand the artwork and the sentiments and the, well, I always draw more stuff because I can't stop myself. But anyway, and then we will create beside each other. I will create right alongside you, so you see my whole process, and we will, that will be in a private Facebook group. You can sign up for this class on my website, Corbiere-Scott-Designs.com, under featured classes. So that's that. So now let's talk about today's artist. Anybody ready? Okay, so we're traveling. Are you ready? To Japan. I'm so excited to share it with you. Okay, so today's artist is, okay, I have it all on this iPad. I swear, I wish you could, no, I don't wish you could see where I am because it's a whole situation, but, okay, so Hokusai. So today we're going to talk about, let's see, Katsushika, I think is how you pronounce his first name. Katsushika, but he was commonly known as Hokusai. And he was a very unusual artist. You know, we're all pretty unusual, but anyway. He was certainly, he was Japan's most influential artist of the 19th century. So he's most famous for his wood block paintings. So he drew the image, then he transferred it onto wood, then he carved it, and then he printed it. Oh, Hokusai. 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 So he's most famous for 36 views of Mount Fuji. So this is the most famous of all of the paintings of those 36, and it is called The Great Wave of Kanagawa. So you can see Mount Fuji in the background here. And then you can see 1, 2, 3 boats. So this is the painting that I'm going to emulate in my art journal today. But I wanted to show you more. I wanted to show you the different, okay, so I showed you, okay, here we go. Here's another view of Mount Fuji. So if you want to look this up on your own Pinterest, it is, let's see. It just says 36 views of Mount Fuji. So that's the place that I'm finding them. And it's the one that I found had all 36 in one shot. So you'll notice that he really likes to, I'm just going to talk and show you the different paintings, and you can, hi Renee Arpon, how are you? He really liked to show the juxtaposition of, oh my gosh, I have so many notes on him. I took more notes on him than so many other people. He likes to, in the midst of chaos, there is a point of stability. So Mount Fuji is always his point of stability. The waves come and go. The mountain does not change. I thought that was so cool. And the Mount Fuji is a reminder of the divine energy. So the more, I don't know how to do this in a way. I wish that I could just scroll through them. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So one thing you'll notice about all of these paintings is there's not much shading. I don't know that there's shading at all because of the manner in which they were painted. Because they weren't really painted, they were printed, right? So the first printing is the outline of everything, right? So the black outline of everything. And then the next printing would be the first color. So he does hi Sandy, how are you? He does darkest to lightest. So you'll notice that the like in the Great Wave, you'll notice that there are very few colors, right? There are a couple shades of blue, brown of the boats, white, and you'll notice the background is almost like a brownish that goes from dark to light, right? So when the hardest part is going to be the drawing, and even then, I think if you break it down into segments, that's what I kind of did. If you break it down into segments, then it's, and you know, this isn't a race or a, you know, you're not going to get graded. It's just to broaden our artistic horizons, right? So they're beautiful. Every one is as beautiful as the next. Look at that. But do you see again, it's so, there's so little shading and there's so little, your color palette is so limited. That is really something to consider. The other thing I did find a quote from him. Oh, sorry. He was born in 1760 and died in 1849. So, and here's another crazy thing. Some of Europe's greatest artists, including Manet, Monet, Van Gogh, Degas, darn it, I had that other one. I didn't write it down. It was in my head. But they were all greatly influenced by his woodblock painting. The Impressionists were really influenced by his paintings. Let's see. Look at that. It's just, so imagine the crazy amount of work that went into this. He drew it and then he transferred it onto a piece of paper, or excuse me, he transferred the drawing onto a piece of wood, and then he carved it, and then he printed it, and then I'm thinking that he must have had to have carved many, right? Because each color would have to be its own block. You know what I'm saying? I just think that it's just, hey Sarah, it's just the most labor intensive, certainly, but also just so impressive. And think about when it was happening, right? He was, I mean, it was certainly a long time ago, and there wasn't the availability of the tools and the technology and the just the resources that we have at our fingertips, literally at our fingertips right now. So I just think How dedicated to his work he must have been. Would you like me to keep going, or do you want to get to the painty part? And you can look at these later. Let me know. Hey Sharon, how are you? So we are traveling to Japan today, Sharon. We are, oh, look at the snow. And look at this tree. Do you just, I'm telling you, you just feel the, you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in Japan. His stuff is just, it is just unbelievably beautiful. Look at this. The shades of blue. When you look at, especially the big wave, when you look at the big wave, you see there are the color palette is so small, right? It's probably 3 blues, brown, and that's it, really, and the black outline. I was going to introduce you to a new term, a new artistic term, conventions. The common characteristics of an art period or style are called conventions, right? Hey, Annalisa, we're in Japan today. So, conventions of this time would be peaceful or idyllic scenes, asymmetrical composition. That means left and right sides are balanced but different. Limited color palette, which we have here. Unclear space or perspective. Diagonal or curved lines that guide your eye through the composition. And outline shapes filled with solid, flat color. So that's certainly something for us to think about. This style of art, this method is UKIKO-E. Yukiko-E? I don't know, you know. I'm sure you guys know that, I try my best, but my pronunciations are off. Another thing that we could talk about is, if you wanted to, like today we're just going to draw and paint, but you could certainly, Keely has done a lot of hand carved stamps with the pink rubber sheets. So that's certainly anything. Oh my gosh, I would love to go to Japan. I'm sure it's just unbelievably beautiful, Annalisa. Anyway, so there's a couple things that you could do if you wanted to kind of play around with the printing method. You could do this most simplistic where you just, you could carve on a styrofoam plate or a styrofoam tray. Just kind of impress your design into that piece of styrofoam and then use a brayer to apply color and then to stamp with that. Or, like I said, you could sketch your design out on transfer sheet and then, or write on your block and then trace your design with a permanent marker, making sure to put your letters and numbers backward, and then use a linoleum cutter to carve out the areas of the design you want to be white. So just think about that. Let's see. Okay, here's the quote. And it's in really sloppy handwriting. So I will try to type it in later, but it's just so, it's telling about him. He was certainly known for being kind of a crazy artist, kind of unconventional, imagine. But he just believed that being unconventional and crazy and unpredictable kept things interesting. I thought that was cool. He was famous for artist happenings. Remember when we were talking about the artist that went to somebody, who were we talking about that did artist happenings in New York City? Who were we talking about? I have to kind of ponder on that one. But anyway, he did these public art exhibits or exhibitions, or he would just create art in the public so that people were, their minds were expanded into the, I need to quit saying It was a woman. And it was New York City. Oh my gosh. Anybody remember? Anyway, he did public artworks so that people could certainly have their artistic horizons broadened. He did 2 birds on a grain of rice. He laid out sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets of paper in this town square, and people had no idea. I mean, it took up a massive amount of space, and then he had a bucket and a mop brush, and he painted a picture, but people couldn't tell what it was because it was so big. But when they stood back or went up high and looked down, they saw that it was a person who, one of the leaders of the, I should have written it down. The Dalai Lama. Tell me, I know the wave is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I wrote down so I started to sketch. So let's show you that first. So is everybody okay with me moving the wave? Do you want me to keep it out? I can certainly keep it out. That's for sure. Okay. I'm going to keep it right there. How's that? Because we're working kind of long, tall, and skinny today. Okay, so here's what I've drawn. Can you see it? I can't see where my camera is today. There we go. All right. So I just started to draw the waves. And the one thing I will tell you is if you really look at his waves, his spray and his foam almost looks like fingers. So you're just going to draw the general shape of your wave, right? And your mountain and your boats. So here's 1, 2, 3. Do you see my boats? And then you're just going to start filling in. Oh gosh, Renee, I don't know about that. You're just going to start filling in with the crashing waves and the foam and the spray, right? You're just going to start filling that in kind of as you go. And then, I mean, it's kind of a long time till painting on this one, I will say. I will warn you right now. Because there's lots of details, they're not hard details, but I think they're really important details. You know what I'm saying? I feel like because we really want to show the power of the sea, show the energy that comes from the sea, and juxtaposed to the solid, steady Mount Fuji. Its energy is just as powerful and strong as the sea, maybe more so, by its steady presence. Oh, I was going to read you his quote. And I feel like, because did you notice in all of the in the 36 paintings that there was always some Japanese writing up in the corner? It was so beautiful. I wish I knew what it said. But because of that, it was almost like in like a little banner. I thought that I would put my quote right up here in the sky to kind of pay homage to that. Hi, Pam Johnson. How are you? Okay, so here's the quote. I have drawn things since I was 6. All that I made before the age of 65 is not worth counting. At 73, I began to understand the true construction of animals, plants, trees, birds, fishes, and insects. At 90, I will enter into the secret of things. At 110, everything, every dot, every dash will live. I thought that was so good. I'm telling you, I am loving this whole process, this whole getting back to art history for me, art appreciation, because I've studied these people, but gosh, to be reminded again and to learn about new ones and to just, find out what their thought process was, what their methodology was, all the different styles and personalities. I just love to find out what makes people tick and what brought them to this point, what brought them to the point where he would do 36 views of Mount Fuji. I just think that is, come on, could you be cooler than that? I don't think so. So I hope everybody is kind of sketching out their wave. I just felt like the wave was probably the one that we would find the easiest to replicate. So I'm just kind of drawing a jiggy-jaggy line underneath this. So I drew, you see the big wave here, but then you see the kind of the residual hump of this wave up here. But I wanted to do a spray, and so I'm just drawing kind of a jiggy-jaggy line under there. And then, there'll be jiggy-jaggy lines that kind of come off of that. That are kind of big and get a little bit smaller. Right? Because the ocean, when you think about the way... Really? So are you here? Oh, the middle of March. How exciting! Evan Roberts. What? Evan Roberts, mop painting and line drawings. I had to look it up. Yeah, it's kind of like, and when I saw the image of the person, seriously, it was crazy. It was crazy how accurate it was. I mean, it's kind of like those people that paint with the side of their hand and, and you're like, what is that even going to be? And in the end, it's like this beautiful portrait of someone. It's just amazing to me. So I am just going to start kind of I think the spray, number one, I think it will be fun to draw and paint. But do you see how I'm holding my pen kind of up high so that my fingers of spray are really quite organic? It's not so. And then once we're painting, we're going to draw some dark, we're going to paint some darker lines with like after the blue, we're going to come in with like the darkest shade of blue to just really give the impression of the energy of this wave shooting up, right? But we also need to think about the spray, because can you imagine the force of this spray? And we don't want it to look too uniform, so we're just going to keep drawing fingers of waves. Oh, I'm loving it. So fun. How's everybody doing? Can you even see this? I'm sorry. There, is that better? And then, do you see under here, there you can probably see do you see the dark goes up, 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 and then all of these white speckles and dots. I know that this one is a biggie, but it'll be worth the effort. Think of what you're going to learn. We've been talking about shading for so long, and now you kind of have to rely on form, right? Form is what's going to convey what we want to convey in this painting. How's everybody doing? Good, I hope. So I will tell you all that I was exposed to someone who tested positive. So on Tuesday, so Jeff and I will go and get tested on Tuesday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. I think that we're fine. I feel fine. I feel bad for my friend. But you know, part of me feels like I can't believe we've gone this long and not had been exposed. And maybe we have, you know, who knows? I think that's the crazy thing about the whole COVID, right? Is that we don't know who we've been exposed to, like, you know, at the grocery store or at the gas station or wherever. I mean, I don't go very many places. Once a month, I go to visit these friends, and this particular friend had gone to many doctor's appointments for an upcoming surgery, and I think, you know, who knows where she was, who knows where she picked it up. And I certainly don't, you know, I've seen a lot of people get mad at people for contracting it, which just seems like about the craziest thing in the world, you know, or not tell people. And I think that's the dangerous thing, right? So, anyway, so to combat all of those anxious feelings, I tore my entire studio apart. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've made such a mess. I've made such a mess. Anyway. Oh, I wanted to do, let's see. I am finding that this feels like I try to just do like the basic shape of whatever it is I'm trying to emulate, because when I try to do the details, like I'm just gonna draw the basic shape of this part of the spray, whatever, and then I'll come in and draw the details. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it will probably be easier there. I think that's better. Like I was trying too hard to be too precise, and that's not working. Right? So now I can come back in with look at my iPad did something on the bottom of there. Hi Yvonne Easter, how are you? I know, Annalisa, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. People just need to tell each other, just so you're aware, and that you're, number one, that you go into immediate quarantine, right? And then get yourself tested. But so we looked up, CDC recommends waiting 5 days. So I think we're waiting 7 days, and then continue to quarantine, just to see, you know. How's everybody? Is everybody drawing? Are you what is everyone doing? I'm dying to see. I am. So some people, I think he has people in his boats. I feel like that's kind of a lot. I think that's a big ask, since we're drawing all of these waves and all of this spray. I'm not drawing people in mine, because you know what? It's entirely too much. I can't do it. But I do kind of dig the idea of drawing the spray. So do you see I'm just kind of turning my pencil, like just twisting it and turning it. This way you don't have any control over it. I'm just twisting and turning, and I'm not putting any pressure on my pencil. Oops, sorry. You know what? Okay. Ooh, cherry blossoms. Very cool, Jamie. Ooh, that would be a fun thing to include, wouldn't it? Okay, Laura, today we are studying the artist. I just want to say it correctly, you guys. Hokusai. 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 He's a Japanese artist, born in 1760, died in 1849. was one of the greatest Japanese most influential artists of the 19th century. The Impressionists were so enamored with him. I just thought of something. The Impressionists were so enamored with him and his style. It made such a Manet, Monet, Van Gogh. When I went to see that Van Gogh exhibition in the interactive exhibition that's on my it's on this page. I put the video, not my video, but a video of that exhibit. You'll see his stuff was in that same video. It was the most crazy cool artistic thing I've done. So you go into this building and it's all open, and there's benches every now and again, but mostly you're just standing. And you go in, and I'm telling you, the artist's great works are just projected on the floor, the ceiling, the walls. You're just engulfed in it. It was the coolest thing. So Hokusai, because he was certainly because he had influenced Van Gogh, was part of the exhibition. It was so cool, so cool. Anyway, let's see, where am I? So he was most famous for, Laura, block printing. So he drew 36 views of Mount Fuji. So he drew the art, and then he transferred it onto a piece of wood, and then he carved it, and then he printed, right? So the first print would be black, so you'd get all of the outlines. And then I presume that he either did another carving or carved out parts of that original carving, and then printed the first color, and then another carving, and then printed the next color. So there isn't much. If you look at his work, you will see that there's not much shading at all in his work, because it was printed block, right? So it would be very difficult to have shades of color, because you're just brayering or painting onto that block a thin layer of paint. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he was just very innovative and unpredictable, and he liked to keep things super interesting and challenge himself and challenge his audience, you know? I just thought that was so interesting and inspiring, right? Like, it's just going to inspire us to reach a little higher and try a little harder. Oh, I was going to show you. So I just drew the basic outline, and now I'll come in and do more of those finger waves, right? And then so I am drawing everything in pencil, and then once we have a composition that we really like, then we can certainly come back and go over everything in black, because I think we're going to really want that black line drawing today to give us the basic idea of our painting, right? And then once you have your black outline done of everything, then you can certainly erase all of the crazy other pencil, right? So I think because those fingery waves, if you really look at the Great Wave painting, those are so iconic. And you can really feel the energy in those finger waves. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to feel the movement, right? The movement of the water in those finger waves. So, but if you just draw the basic shape, then you can certainly come in and create your finger waves separate. And I did, I just kind of start and stop them, right? And maybe I come over here and I do one here, and then I come over here and do one here, and then, you know, eventually they'll all meet up. It'll all fit together. But I just wanted to share with you that you don't have to draw it all in one fell swoop. It helps to just get the basic like the basic placement of everything, and then come back and fill in the details. And you just, you know, these finger waves, we're just kind of inventing it as we go along. I don't want anybody to feel like they need to, like there's a formula or anything. Just figuring it out as I go along. And if you're feeling like you're getting too exact, do the twist your pencil kind of method, and that, you know, you're not really controlling it. And remember, the higher you hold your pencil, the more loose your lines will be. And this is something we certainly want our lines to be loose. And like I said, you can certainly come back and firm up lines as you go along, but you want to get the basic idea out first. Does that make any sense? Laura, I'm telling you, he was so amazing. He was so amazing. And when you look at the Great Wave, you've seen this. You've seen this, I don't know, on a notebook or a t-shirt or all kinds of places, right? You've seen the print. But it will also, I mean, think about, because he did everything as a print, think about the preparation that must have gone into his work, and the because he would have had to have like planned everything out, every layer of color, the placement of every layer of color, to keep his original vision of his painting. I'm telling you, it must have just been tremendous. And I will tell you, his body of work is thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of art. Most famous, certainly, is the 36 views of Mount Fuji. But his body of work is tremendous. So like I said, you know what? I was going to put his quote. I was thinking about that. I'm going to put his quote up here, because when you look at his work, and I think most Japanese work of the time, there's like a little panel, and then there's some Japanese writing in there. but I wanted to put his quote up here to kind of pay homage to that. I think I'm going to have to stand to do this. To that method. Oh my gosh, I just love this. I just love this. Before the age of 65, it's not worth counting. Which, you know, none of us would think this, but he did, right? At 73. Don't you think that, for me, as I was reading it, the first thought that I had after I was reading it was that we should be constantly learning, right? You should never think that you're the you've reached the pinnacle or whatever. We should always be learning people and open to new ideas and new, sorry, I'm running out of lead. Methods and new styles, and that life is exciting, you know? That there's always something new and fascinating. At 90. I'm telling you, this is so cool. I'm writing this here, and I'm hoping that if you feel so inclined, you can see it and copy it. Or, you know, you may look it up yourself. I just wanted to, like, in my head, I was really feeling like I really wanted it. I just knew this is where I wanted it to be. Oops. Every dash will live. How cool is that? Oh no! Pam, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Oops. Are you back? Well, you should be able to watch it on the replay then. I think that might be your best bet. I want to write his whole name. I know that he was most known by his last name, but although I don't know about like the what do I want to say? How things are laid out in a, gosh, you know what? I just need to finish this because I'm having conflicting thoughts in my head. Just a second. T-A-K. Like what the look at that. I don't know about Japanese lettering or Japanese names, what the if like the last name is the first name and the first name is the last name in Spanish. So if somebody knows that, I presume this was his first name and this was his last name, but now I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? I told you I feel like the stinking COVID is the pandemic has affected my vocabulary. Let's see. Season finale of Transplant this Tuesday. Oh, I hope they renew it. I hope so too. I really like that show. I really, really, really like that show. Oh, that's so cool, Sarah. I can't believe, well, number one, I certainly haven't, hey, Lori. Oh, there is a feminine wave. Yeah, I saw that, but what do you think Katsushika was his first name? Because he was known as Hokusai, do you think that was his last name or his first name? I don't know. These are the things that trouble my brain sometimes. Oh, we are over. We are over by 1 minute. I am sorry about that. I just get myself all lost in this stuff, you know. Be sure to check out my website. I'm going to be adding some new stuff. Like I want to certainly add a page that has all of my licensed art for Adorn It, Unity, and Funky Fossil. So there's a central place that you can look at those things. And I'll try to do, Rhonda and I are working on a plan, Rhonda, my tech genius, to just, zhuzh it up a little bit in the new year. So be looking for that. And if nothing else, I'll see you Tuesday. And we will paint something fabulous. I will put out what I'm going to be painting on. I'm thinking I want to continue with the Christmas trees or the joy sand. I'm kind of digging both of those. Those have kind of been my little bit of a go-to lately. Or if you have a special request for a paintable, let me know. Until then, I thank you all. I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining me on this as we traveled to Japan today and learned all about Hokusai. And if you feel so inclined, go find out some more about him. He was just fascinating. And wouldn't you have loved to have been his friend back in the day? Back in 18 whatever? Back in 17 whatever? I just think, gosh, if I could time travel, that's what I'd sure like to do. Time travel back to, you know, meet all of these great artists and pick their brain and buy them a cup of coffee and, you know, just get to know them as people too, because that will certainly be reflective in their art. Anyway, enough of that rambling. I will see you all on Tuesday. I'm so ever so grateful that you join me a couple times a week to just hang out and make art and, you know, have ourselves a time. Thank you all so very much, and I'll see you Tuesday. Bye.